Hi, I'm Jenny Walterman, and this is my Module 1 introduction for EDL 880. I am married and in a blended family. We have 5 children combined. We have 3 grandkids and 2 more on the way. So by the end of this spring semester, it will be a full grandkid load, and I'm so excited. I'm a musician and an introvert for sure. I enjoy hobbies that are kind of a single person type of task. I like gardening, reading, kayaking, bird watching with my husband, and I do play music in a band with my husband. I play violin, and my husband sings and plays guitar. And we like to go fishing. We haven't been able to do very much of that since I started this grad program at Fort Hays. In my professional world, I am the IPS and Real World Learning Coordinator for the Paola School District for grades 6 through 12. So I am over the middle school and high school for that. Prior to that, I taught business at Paola High School for 4 years. And prior to that, I was a music teacher for 20 years. And so while I was teaching music lessons, I was also working in corporate accounting and learned those skills from my high school business classes back in the day. And so when I decided to reroute my life, I decided to go back and teach business at the high school to help equip students to be successful to face whatever comes next after high school, whether that be in their post secondary education or going into the career field. And so that really kind of developed in me this. Really love in pursuing IPS and CTE and just really helping students to make sure that they know what's next for them and feeling good about it after graduation. Um, I developed an internship program for our school a few years ago and have really been involved in that and job shadowing and helping students have a real world learning experience, which is a big passion of mine and now part of my job as the IPS coordinator. All right. On to the critical analysis of our work this week. So, some common themes and theories for positive school culture that I saw. Um, I'm just going to read the blue part that jumped out at me as key themes throughout the readings. So, environments that feel safe and students are supported and engaged helps promote a positive school culture. Positive school cultures that encourage learning and student engagement result in an increased rate of attendance and also an increased rate of positive student outcomes. Another common theme was that clear expectations while providing a strong and supportive environment is equitable for students and can be a positive school culture. Healthy communication is also a key descriptor of a positive school culture, and using school data to set goals rather than going with a gut instinct or a feeling. Using data to guide decision making is a positive way to go because it doesn't leave any marginalized groups out on the sides. It helps provide access and equitable decisions for the entire student body. Making students feel seen and heard is very important to positive school culture so that they don't just feel like a face in the sea of faces. And having celebrations and providing time to talk and share amongst students and staff helps build a positive culture. And then modeling active listening is also a way that we can make people feel seen and heard and results in a positive school culture. And so some strong relationships are essential. And I think I mentioned that in the previous slide, as is consistency and expectations and discipline, which are key to establishing and maintaining positive school environment. Positive environment directly correlates to how safe students feel. So if you have a positive environment, you're taking measures to ensure that students are seen and heard and have a voice and have clear boundaries. It will increase their safety factor of how they feel about their environment. And setting healthy boundaries is also another way to help students feel safe and establish a positive school culture. Okay, so inclusive and supportive school cultures celebrate diversity. They value cultural differences. They implement community engagement, have a strong sense of belonging for all members of the school community. They provide access to events and consider all key stakeholders when scheduling activities or making decisions. They also are strategically evaluating and revising their policies to promote continuous improvement. And they also provide a learning environment that's diverse and embraces culturally responsive curriculum. And then culturally responsive schools that are inclusive help underserved and marginalized populations. They refrain from bias and stereotypes. And they also establish a modern, diverse, and inclusive school in order to have all students feel seen and heard. With equitable school cultures, they have access to all participants, a tolerance of individuals who learn differently. They have a shared vision and language for adults in the building to combat any bias, and they practice a culture of affirmations, sensitive to any cultural differences that may be present with minority families or immigrant student families. They hire and retain diverse staff. This helps bring a wider range of perspectives and learning opportunities. And they balance patience with urgency. I thought that that was a really interesting one. Microaggression does happen. We see it around us, and it can be so subtle that it might maybe sail right by, but it must be addressed immediately when it occurs so that victims of microaggression don't feel like they aren't worth the effort of the teacher or the administrator to deal with those types of situations and validate who they are as a human being. And then responsive school culture is diverse teaching modalities that adapt, differentiate, and modify content. They have this inherent cultivation of a responsive culture that can personalize education. They adjust expectations when asking questions to allow more equitable and responsive learning exchange. And they also have a strong foundation of cultural understanding. And they don't let school culture be an afterthought, they're proactive in it, and they move forward in significant ways in order to respond appropriately to diversity in their building. And then responsive schools focus on the academic success of all students, and they have a shared mission, vision, and values that stem from teaching and learning. And that's as a result of students all being able to have access and achieving rigorous academic standards. Um, Responsive schools learn to self assess their own bias. So they acknowledge that it exists, they assess whether it's happening in their building with their individuals, and then they try to manage that and learn from it in order to see every individual. They embrace and facilitate difficult conversations within schools in order to ensure a fair and equitable environment is supported. They desire to instill lifelong values that enrich the human experience and cultivating and deepening cultural competence and understanding of themselves and others. And then, as far as a critical reflection, I'm not sure if I did this right, but there were these questions about how does my school, Paola High School, I chose the high school instead of the middle school, promote certain things. So, the positive, inclusive, supportive culture, how does Paola School do that? I put down these key points that you will see. Over the next few slides, but the ones in black bold are the ones that I feel like apply to this first slide as far as promoting a positive or inclusive school culture. We have regular and routine class meetings, so all the freshmen get together at least once a month, all the sophomore, all the junior, all the seniors at least once a month, and have class meetings and go over things and have various activities that they do to try to do some team building. Oh, so sorry. My goodness, sorry. We have monthly celebrations of students' accomplishments, which I feel like is really good because sometimes students just can't wait to see their name up there for something that they did or accomplished. Um, and then we have a homecoming parade that's one of the biggest ones in the state. It's definitely the biggest one in our county, and like the whole town comes out for it. Like the town shuts down, town square business is closed for the day, and everybody comes out, and it really is a neat thing for students to see that they're that important to the community. We have a spring fling day at the high school, which is kind of like elementary day, field day, where school closes for the day, and it's like a week before finals. And so it's just really a fun time of coming together and having activities that bring about some cohesion and some bonding with our students, and shows them, that it's okay to have some fun, right? And we also do assembly games, where we bring the students together and have different activities and games. We have some diverse clubs and organizations. We have a lot of different clubs and organizations in our building, and those provide opportunities for different students to participate and in different groups. And then we have clear instruction and requests from our principal, and it provides a reliable and safe environment for our students. And that one I really noticed was the case when I was reading the Freeman article, that our principal is really good at that and does that. Okay, moving on. Everything in purple is the educational success and well being of each student or adult. How is that represented in PHS culture? So, the regular and routine class meetings is focusing on educational success and well being of every student. And then the clear instructions and requests from principals provide a reliable and safe environment for our students. Those are the two ways I feel like we're doing that. And then on to the blue, everything in blue is response to how does the PHS culture have commitment to develop and maintain a supportive, equitable, culturally responsive, and inclusive school. So again, back to those regular routine class meetings, I feel like it's really a touch point for all of these different types of responsive and inclusive management approaches for school diversity. And then our diverse clubs and organizations also are culturally responsive. And our policies that are established with consideration of all students and faculty and the same level of ethical expectations are assured, even though the circumstances and student scenarios may be handled differently. This provides equity to all of our students. That is one that I've really seen through the support of our principal. He's very, very supportive. Pause that for a minute because my dogs were going to start barking. So I think I said everything I want to about this slide. Let's see. Okay, and everything in red is familiar characteristics that are identified in the resource materials. So, common themes that I saw in various materials were the regular and routine class meetings, monthly celebrations of student accomplishments, and the inclusive school communities article. It talked about having celebrations and celebrating student accomplishments. Our homecoming spring fling assembly games, that all is part of celebrating students and having celebrations in that mentioned article. And then our diverse clubs having clear instructions. Moving on. Sorry. So the responsive school culture comparison effects differentiating between evidence and argument. Responsive schools focus on the academic success of all students. A shared mission, vision, values that stem from teaching and learning support all student accessing and achieve rigorous academic standards. Teachers need to learn to self-assess their own biases in order to see the individual, embrace and facilitate difficult conversations within schools in order to ensure a fair and equitable environment is supported. This desire to instill lifelong values that enrich the human experience, and then cultivating and deepening cultural competence in understanding yourself and others. I think I just repeated. Again, I'm sorry. Pausing that for the dogs kind of threw me off, guys. Sorry. All right, so this is my correlation, relevant statement, and reflection. You can pause and read it if you want. I will not read it to you. And my references. Thanks for watching. Sorry that was a little disjointed there because I paused it. Anyway, I look forward to meeting you all in the community and discussing various aspects throughout this course.